Okay, so we're back on my porch again. Welcome back. And today I want to continue the conversation we've been having about is home staging worth it? So last time we talked about the investment, how you invest money up front. Obviously it shortens your time on market. If you factor in carrying costs of keeping that house sitting there on the market, right? Your mortgage, your direct expenses, you can shorten that time, how much money you save when you stage first, okay? So what we're gonna talk about today is just a couple examples that I've seen, that I've worked with, on how that affects, two different types of market, right? So in a seller's market, right? If you're in Colorado Springs and you have a home that's under 400,000, things are flying, or maybe under 500,000 right now, just flying off the market. It is insane, right? I mean, you might not even last a weekend with that house listed sitting there on the market, right? So it's kind of like, well, if it's gonna sell so fast, why would we invest in staging? Again, is home staging worth it in that market, right? And so let's talk about that. So what I've been saying is that even when a home is selling faster, if it's priced right and it looks amazing, buyers are going to want that property more. What that does is brings in more offers, creates a little bit more of a bidding war, and ultimately lands you with a better offer, right? You bring in more money. So you sell faster, right? It's still gonna sell fast. Maybe you can't sell faster these days in that market. It's gonna sell fast, but now you're bringing in more for that house because you get some, addition, we've had multiple bids, coming in on the houses in that price range in our market. So better it looks, the higher those bids are going to be. And I want to give you an example of a condo I did that you might think it doesn't need to be staged because it's going to sell so fast. And it did. It was an insane selling process. So I had we did a condo. It was a 2-bedroom, 1,000 square foot condo, older, nothing really fancy about it. It was put on the market for $162,000. So that's going to last seconds, right? Seconds these days. And it did. I mean, it ended up actually selling to it went live at right before 8 o'clock in the morning. And it was the first bid that came in at 8 was what ended up selling, the house ended up going for. But that day there were 21 showings off the bat. I mean, we ended up having 13 offers that came in, a lot of bids going on, a lot of negotiation, and it sold for $170,500 was what the final bid the final agreement was. So obviously there is a $8,000 over asking price in a scenario of a tiny little condo that you knew was going to sell fast anyway. Now, the question is well, those condos are already selling fast. Did it still need staging? Well, the beauty of this condo is that literally 10 condos down, the same exact condo was also listed prior to this one, right? So nothing was different about it. Same layout, actually had some nicer upgrades. They had updated the vanity bathroom. Their kitchen was a little bit nicer with some of the features, but it wasn't staged. So that home still went over asking price. It still sold for $168,000. Or sorry, no, not $168,000. It sold for $162,000. So there was still oh dear, I'm having a hard time. What was it? It sold for $165,000. So it was 65. So we still ended up having $5,000 that the stage condo brought in over the comp down the street. So even if there was an investment in that property of staging, which was about a $2,000 stage, right? Oh, is that worth it for this price market? Well, I think the sellers would say yes, because they walked away with an additional $3 grand on that sale. So you can't go too wrong with that, right? Now let's talk about the buyer's market. So once we start getting into higher price listings, we have a different kind of market that's happening in our area. So in Colorado Springs, that buyer market shifts when you start getting above like the $800,000 mark. Okay, so I'm going to talk about $3 million houses that I recently worked in this summer and how quickly those were impacted because of staging. So one house, we actually did a more of an occupied consultation. So that's one service we did where we took out a lot of extra decor. We appeal to more buyers. We simplify what's going on. We depersonalize and take down. They had a lot of knickknacks, things like that. That went under contract within 2 weeks of going to the market. We had another house that was listed for $1.5 million. That was a vacant home that we staged, and you have to understand it. And for this price point, you're expecting probably to sit on the market for 6 months to a year, right? That is pretty standard. When you're getting the $1 million price point, you have a smaller buyer niche, so it has a tendency to sit longer. Well, this $1.5 million home, it went under contract again 2 weeks. So way under the expectation of what we were trying to sell it for, right? And then finally, we just had another listing that was $1.3 million. It was a beautiful home. It had some odd features like an indoor pool, which is going to narrow that buyer niche, and it had a little more Mediterranean style, which again narrows that buyer niche. So we tried to open it up with staging, appeal to more buyers, and that house actually went under contract in 30 days. So, in both markets, the seller's market and the buyer's market, staging has an impact that's going to benefit those sellers and bring in more money and ultimately have a more successful sale for them. So don't think that because your home is priced low that you don't need to stage it. And also don't think because you already expect your home that's priced high that it's going to take a long time to sell. We can make an impact and really impact your staging. And my daughter's actually right here, so I'm going to sign off. All right. Oh, we got some crazy hair. All right. Thanks. Bye.